All right, everyone, let's get started here. We still have a few more speakers that will join us towards the end of the call, but we have several here already. So without further ado, let's get things started here. Before we begin, a week from now, so next Thursday, next Wednesday, to be precise, Polkadot Decoded will be happening June 29th and 30th. This year, Polkadot Decoded is not only going hybrid, it has been online due to COVID the last three editions. Now it will be online as well as in person. And not only are we just doing it in one location, but we are distributing the event and doing it in multiple cities all over the world. So for Europe, we have a location in Berlin. In China, we have a location in Hangzhou. In North America, we have it in New York. And in Latin America, we have it in Buenos Aires. Simultaneously, parachains as well as ambassadors as well as active community members have submitted treasury proposals to do and or sponsored themselves live viewing parties, side events, and there's over 20 different events happening all over the world in parallel to Polkadot Decoded and side events in those cities, as well as viewing parties in other cities and places like Africa and other locations in North America and Europe as well. So if you haven't yet RSVP'd, even if you can't make it to one of the locations or those locations, do head over to decoded.polkadot.network and RSVP so that you can see the live stream and the main stage talks that are happening for those 2 days, as well as we're giving away a POAP, a limited unique NFT for all those that RSVP. Every NFT is unique. However, it's more unique and more rare based on how early you RSVP. So first come, first serve. So definitely make sure to do that now so that your NFT is more rare than if you would do it tomorrow. So without further ado, let me introduce who our speakers are. Joining us today, we have Marvin Tong from Phala Network, and we have Shumo Chu from Manta Network. From BrightTreasury, we have, I'm so sorry, I think it's Cassia. Please, when you do speak, correct me on how the exact pronunciation of your name is. Joining us from Chainsafe, we have Dan Forbes to talk about Substrate Connect. We have Alex from Equilibrium and Elliot from Nodle Network. And then, this is from Data Highway as well. You're going to need to correct me on how to say your name as well, Jin Hu. And then we have joining us later, Hoon Kim from Astar. So without further ado, let's get started here. Dan, would you like to kick us off?
Sure. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, loud and clear.
Yeah. Thanks for having me, Emily. I'm really excited to be here. So, as you said, I'm here to talk a little bit about Chainsafe as well as the Polkadot Snap project that we're working on. But before I get into that, let me talk a little bit about Chainsafe and who it is that we are and what we do. So we're a multi-blockchain development firm. We work in, of course, the Polkadot ecosystem. I work on a team called Gossamer that's implementing an alternative client for Polkadot, just kind of like Parity started out building an alternative client for the Ethereum ecosystem. We're hard at work building an alternative client for the Polkadot ecosystem. Ours is written in Go. So in addition to the work that we do in the Polkadot ecosystem, we also work in Ethereum, Filecoin, and Mina, building alternative clients for all of those blockchain networks. We have a consultation arm that works across a number of blockchain networks, including the ones that I just said, as well as Cosmos and a number of others, working in Rust, Go, TypeScript, Solidity. I think we just hit a little bit more than 100 people at the beginning of the year, and we're continuing to grow. And so there's a lot of activity, and it's a very, very fun place to work. Kind of at the leading edge of what we're doing right now is the work on our products. So kind of taking our expertise in the different ecosystems that we work in and really building that out into kind of like first class developer or user facing products. So we have have a storage SDK that's built on top of Filecoin. We have a gaming SDK that's built on top of Unity and implements all the ERC contracts. And then, of course, we have our chain bridging solution. So that's just a little bit about Chainsafe. Of course, one thing I should add is that we're like very passionate members of the open source community. So for other people out there who are developers or just like to look at code, you can pretty much check out all of what we do under our organization there on Chainsafe in GitHub. And then in terms of the work that I'm doing right now with the Polkadot Snap, I'm working as project manager, helping just organize a team in Croatia that was formerly operating as a company called Node Factory, but they were one of Chainsafe's acquisitions. And so they've kind of really developed a name for themselves in the Snap development ecosystem. They worked on a Filecoin Snap. They won a hackathon with their Mina Snap, and they had previously done an implementation on of a Polkadot Snap, basically integrating the Polkadot JS API SDK client library into the MetaMask Snap environment, which just really makes it easier for developers and people who already have MetaMask installed on their machine to be able to interact with Polkadot and other similar networks without having to download a new browser extension. So we're really happy to have the opportunity to kind of bring that accessibility to more people while still helping to make sure that the network is safe and people are following best practices. So that's a little bit about Chainsafe and what I'm doing in the Polkadot ecosystem right now. I don't know if people usually ask questions. This is my very first Twitter space, but I think that's about all I have.
Yes, thanks, Dan. We'll see if at the time there's room for questions, but today is such a full call. We got 10 of you guys here that we'll have to see if there's time for questions. I'm hoping there is, because there's always some great questions coming from the audience. But that all sounds good. And like Dan said, make sure to head over to their Twitters and the information that Dan provided to keep up to date with what Chainsafe is doing with Gossamer, with Substrate Snap as well.
Yes, thank you for that. And also, I should mention we will be speaking at Decoded as well. So another great reason to attend that event that's coming up. Thanks for the reminder for those calls to action, Emily. I appreciate it.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So great. Thank you, Dan. So since we have so many people joining us today, let's move on to the next. From Phala here, we have Marvin Tong joining us.
Hi. Yeah, hi everyone. Nice to meet you, and thanks for having me. So, yeah. So, briefly speaking, I'm Marvin Tung. I'm the co-founder of Phala Network, and I'm also the CEO of Hash Forest, which is the technical company building Phala Network. And yeah, Phala Network, we are building a decentralized computation cloud, and this is not an easy job. It's very tough actually. And we're very glad that we are using Polkadot as layer 0, and of course Kusama as layer 0 to provide security sharing and the infra to drive our blockchain. So yeah, for Phala. Well, Phala is already alive on both parachains, on both relay chains like Kusama and Polkadot. The parachain on Kusama is called Phala Network, and the parachain on Polkadot is called Phala Network. But a little bit unique part is we are using the same governance module, the same console, and the same token to drive behind two parachains. Part of the reason is that we think it's workable, and we don't want to divide our community into two parts. So no matter you are using Kala or Phala, you are in the same group, you are sharing from the same benefit in the community. So yeah, our progress is like Phala is already launched in last year Kusama after the last year Kusama auction, and we already run for over 1 year, and we just refill another year for Kusama auction, and in this year we successfully won Polkadot Parachain auction. So Phala is already alive on Polkadot, and we already distributed our crowd loan reward to our audience and community supporter. And the next step is we just launched our council members council democracy module in Phala blockchain. And the next step is we will remove stool and enable token transfer on Phala. But yeah, this is the progress from our code base. And for ecosystem, uh, because Phala is providing computation power, so we need a strong supporting from the server end. And based on our tokenomic, we have distributed 70% of our token to our computation node provider. And for now, it's runs successfully on a Phala network on Kusama. And our network, we already have over 14K servers providing computation ability on our network alive. So this is quite some milestone we've achieved. And the next step is we will launch Fed contract, which is a serverless program module to enable developers to use our computation power. And Fed contract is also using Parity Inc. language as a serverless language, and it runs very well. And we are about to launch in the next season. So with Fed contract, we are expecting we can deal with the use cases who want to host their back-end program in off-chain and with low latency and large computation power. And yeah, I think this is a very first batch of use cases for Inc. Language WebAssembly with Rust. So for our ecosystem project, we already launched Subbridge. So Subbridge is a routing application to help bridging between bridges and HRMP transfer. So now we already linked up with over 6 parachains and blockchains like Ethereum, and we already listing over 10 tokens on these parachains and Ethereum. So it means that we are not building a new bridge, but more like we are routing them together to help the DeFi users can transfer their assets in one click. It's like a one-click solution. And yeah, and another ecosystem project I want to share for the update is Phala World, and Phala World is soulbound NFT system built on remark pilot on Phala Network, and we already successfully launched it yesterday, so our community member can claim the untransferable NFT in free. And the next step for Phala World is we will also launch the Shell NFT, which is a PFP NFT module. So the system is about to combine with untransferable NFT and PFP NFT together to explore the interesting use cases in games and the metaverse. So yeah, this is the updates and the progress about Phala Network. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you, Marvin. And correct me if I'm wrong, but you guys are also speaking next week at Polkadot Decoded, correct?
Yeah, I'm not speaking, but like my partner Hong and Shelvin, they will give speech on Decoded. But I will be in Decoded, New York.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah, so anyone in New York, make sure to check that out in person. But if you're not, you can RSVP online to hear more about Phala. And again, Marvin is joining here from his company Twitter, from the Phala Twitter account. So make sure to click on that and go give them a follow to stay up to date with what they're doing. And congratulations on your recent launch as well. So up next here, we have Shumo Chu from Manta Network.
Hello. Yeah, can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can.
Great. Yeah. Hi everyone. This is Shumo Chu. I'm the co-founder of Manta Network. Right. Let me first introduce what we're doing. We're using like zero knowledge proof to building the privacy layer for the Web3, and basically we currently already have let me find quite other places. Sorry, I'm running a little bit office crisis. So we are building the privacy layer for the entire Web3. And so our project founded about like 1.5 years ago. And since then, basically, we've made a lot of progress and already delivered 2 versions of testnet, right? Let me, from highest level, right, what we do. I think everyone knows, right? So we love blockchain, we love the Web3 space, and we love do the DeFi, NFT tradings, and metaverse, right? But there is a kind of like an elephant in the room that everyone knows about that kind of, but it's really hard to solve. Is the privacy, right? Essentially, like people thought like blockchain is super cool, like everyone having these addresses, and it must be private. But the real world the real world is actually exactly the opposite, in a sense that it's exactly against privacy, in a sense that it's kind of like sending money over Twitter, right? So your every single transaction is on chain. It's everyone else can view your transactions, and what makes things worse is that if we think blockchain is here to stay, this kind of financial history will be on chain forever, right? So this is really really bad. And so we are really, from the first principle, try to solve the problem. And how we solve the problem is that using cryptography, right? Namely zero knowledge proofs. So I wouldn't dive into the details of how we solve that, but let me just show you what the progress we have made, right? So since last August, we launched the first version of testnet. It's amazing. A lot of people love that. And we did a second iteration, and we launched the second version of the testnet called Dolphin V2. It's actually the fastest private payment network on Earth right now. So how we measure like fastest, right? First, thanks to Polkadot, thanks to the Polkadot Kusama's like awesome blockchain infrastructure, we have a very short latency, right? Just like 12-second block time. And second, right? So we actually have the most advanced zero knowledge proof circuit. So for example, our proof generation only takes 2 seconds. It's really blazingly fast. So let me make a comparison, right? When you're talking about the zero knowledge proof circuit, like the measurement here is the constraint size, right? So our constraint size is only 1/10 of the Zcash constraint that folks are using today, right? Truly amazing. And actually, our testnet is actually doing the maintenance right now, and we'll probably reopen it pretty soon, like in 1 or 2 days. Like, highly encourage people to give a try and go to Manta Network and click testnet. You will try the fastest private payment system on Earth. I think what's more here is that it's actually very, very slick, very easy to use, right? It has a few very, very nice privacy preserving features, and without hurting users UX experience. Let me give you 2 examples. First is that unlike this is kind of like a one-time address system, it actually have a permanent address system. We call it the shielded addresses, right? So basically, this is exactly the same kind of a user experience as you using like a non-private payment. And secondly, right, so we have a viewing key system. Basically, this viewing keys, you can authorize some people else have these viewing keys. And these people can see your transactions, right? And without having the ability to spending your transactions. And this is really nice for 2 regards. First is that it gives you regulation compliance. For example, you can generate the tax report, right? We're kind of encouraging responsibly privacy. And secondly, right, so think of your like organization, right? You want to audit the transactions, all these things, right? So this is really, really nice. Pretty excited, right? And we are going to launch the MariPay, which is the first private payment system on Kusama, probably in 1.5 months. And before that, and we're going to do a trusted setup ceremony, which is generating the ZK parameters, right? So highly encourage everyone to join us, right? So that's what currently we have done. And looking forward, right? So we have actually more exciting things to roll out. First is that in next month, we're going to roll out the privacy SDKs for all the parachain builders. I really like what Marvin said, we really should highly optimize both developer experiences and user experiences. And our goal is that for all the parachain builders and also the DApp builders in the Polkadot Kusama ecosystem, you can just do one click and privatize your asset, right? That's what we are rolling next. And also, thanks to the amazing mechanisms of the XEM, right? We have already started a HRMP channel with Akala's Kusama parachain Karura and Moonbeam's like a Kusama parachain Moon River. And also as we are speaking right now, we're doing the HRMP channel with Phala, right? Pretty excited about that. And I mean, even moving forward in the longer horizon, we have pretty excited more new product coming out, which is a privacy preserving smart contract. And you can use your smart contract to directly manipulate the private asset, also get composability, right? Last but not least, several Manta members will be speaking in Decoded. I will be speaking in the NYC event. Jamie Dunn will be speaking in the Hangzhou event. And Kenny will be speaking in the Berlin event. Please stay tuned. Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Shumo. And yes, if you guys haven't caught on yet, almost everyone on this call, or I think everyone on this call, will be speaking at Polkadot Decoded next week. So it's a great opportunity to tune in and hear what all of these projects are doing, and in a longer format, right? Because right now they're only giving very high level updates. So make sure to RSVP, and we look forward to seeing you again next week, whether in person or online. Up next, we have BrightTreasury to discuss their treasury proposal.
Hello, everyone. My name is Kasia. I know this is not the easiest name to pronounce. It's Kasia, a project manager from BrightTreasury team. I'm very happy to be here today among all these amazing presentations. This is our first community call update, so I would like to give you some context first about what BrightTreasury actually is. So BrightTreasury is a standalone web application. You can find us at treasury.bright.dev, and it allows performing community member actions on the Treasury module of Polkadot and Kusama chains. And actually, it allows a more intuitive and lightweight flow of submitting proposals, as well as an overview of the Treasury-related actions. And the first phase of development of this project, it was funded by the Web3 Foundation grants. And currently, since January of this year, we are 100% supported by the Polkadot and Kusama treasuries. So we're very happy with this. And what's special about BrightTreasury is that our focus is on the regular user's actions rather than the council perspective, at least for now. What we wanted to do was to attract more professionals who could contribute to the community with their ideas and skills, but at the same time, they may not be as fluent in blockchain democracy customs and the whole terminology. So based on the discussions that we had with Substrate Networks users and council members, as well as an analysis of the comments under Polkadot and Kusama proposal submissions in Polk Assembly, mainly, we identified the areas that caused most issues in the Treasury funding process from the user's perspective. And one of the main needs that were brought up was a more intuitive proposal submission flow with clear indication of a proposal idea being subject to the community discussion first, before submitting to blockchain and committing with bond funds. So this is why in BrightTreasury, users first introduce their ideas for proposals. When you do not have to leave any kind of deposit yet, they are basically drafts of future proposals and can be discussed with the community to gather feedback. And they're structured in the same way as the actual proposals, so encourage users to add milestones and organize descriptions with sections like about the project, about the team, plan for the budget to clarify the intended actions. And once the user feels that their idea is mature enough, they incorporate the feedback, provide the necessary information, etc. They can transform the idea into a formal on-chain proposal, and they can do it the whole idea at once, or BrightTreasury allows you to do it milestone by milestone if this is what you desire. So what's great about BrightTreasury is also that it is one place for following the submitted proposals, their status, the results of motions. But it's not only the ideas and proposals that we cover. So BrightTreasury now covers all of the main treasury financing mechanisms and related actions. So displaying and managing also tips, bounties, and most recently, also child bounties. In our newest update, we are actually very proud of this one, as I think we are one of the first platforms that actually covered the child bounties palette. So please make sure to check out this feature. And if you are a curator of a bounty, in BrightTreasury, you can also perform all the needed actions on child bounties. So you can create a new child bounty, you can assign a child bounty curator, and once you are a child bounty curator using BrightTreasury, you can also award, close, and perform all the necessary actions. So it will be very exciting to see people start using it. And plus all of the aforementioned treasury funding mechanisms, except for child bounties for now, because we're working on it, are also integrated with Polk assembly descriptions, so you won't miss any vital change. It means that by adding a proposal or bounty or a tip through BrightTreasury, you will also be able to copy the description to Polk assembly and vice versa. So if someone adds a description to Polk assembly, it will also be displayed in BrightTreasury. And as a matter of fact, recently we added our own idea for a proposal in Kusama to bring our integration with Polk assembly to another level. We plan to synchronize comments, discussions between the two platforms, and map the ideas to the Polk assembly discussions as well, to be able to reach more community and council members and gather as much of the feedback as possible. We would love to get your opinion on our idea, so it would be great to hear what you think in a discussion under our idea in BrightTreasury app. Right, so I think that's it for our first community call update. We hope to come back in the near future to let you know what other exciting features we'll be adding to the app. In the meantime, please follow us on Twitter to stay in the loop. Well, so thank you very much for this opportunity to connect and spread the word about BrightTreasury. We are very excited about the coming updates and hopefully further growing with your participation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, and thank you so much for joining. Up next, we have Alex, the founder of Equilibrium.
Hello. Hi, guys. Great to be here. Thanks very much for having me. And I'm super excited to share some updates from the side of Equilibrium. Just by way of introduction, let me say a few words about myself, my background, and the backgrounds of the project. So I'm the CEO and the founder with the Equilibrium team. I'm engineering applied mathematics by training and actually full-time in crypto since 2016. The team behind Equilibrium has been working together for quite some time, since I believe 2017, almost like more than 5 years till now. And we've been always being focused on creating the decentralized finance applications on various blockchains. And we've been around here in the Kusama community since 2020, when we kicked off our development of the substrate framework, and that actually helps us to bring our dream about cross-chain interoperability in reality at the end of the day. So the idea behind the Equilibrium platform is to actually combine all significant DeFi use cases under one umbrella. So effectively, the platform is comprised of the full-scale money markets and the decentralized exchange, which is order book based and heavily leveraging the capabilities of the money markets when it comes to margin trading and stuff. So it's kind of two major products complementing each other. And right now, like maybe the main sort of feature of the platform is the real high leverage that we are offering on borrowing and trading, meaning that the platform actually brings more capital efficiency into the DeFi space. So we actually quite heavily leveraging the advantages of the substrate framework and the technical advantages of that, specifically because like most of the features that we have on the platform, which differentiates us from various other DeFi concepts, actually makes the platform really unique and innovative in this sense. So with regards to updates of the current development roadmap, so as you guys probably know, we have actually won the slots on Polkadot a little bit more than 1 month ago. And we've been extensively preparing for the production launch. And, you know, the thing is, like, for us, the main priority right now is to integrate with every single products or projects and parachain in the network, because like we strongly believe that the functionality that we're rolling out brings value not only to the community but to these projects as well, because we'll be adding the native assets of each single project that we'll be integrating with onto our product line, and eventually the sort of these asset holders that will be able to leverage their holdings within our protocol, whether through the money markets or through the DEX. And we're, again, super focused on the XAM integrations. We have few integrations in our pipeline. Maybe the most exciting that we just recently accomplished is the integration with the Phala Network, and we will be actually integrating the AUSD stablecoin deeply in our product line, so you guys will be able to make use of that within our liquidity pools, either for staking, earning yields, or maybe for some other purposes. So another exciting integration is actually integration with Parallel, and again, besides just stablecoins, we'll be also supporting like native assets of all the parachain projects that we're integrating. So you can actually, it will provide more use cases for them expectedly. There will be also other integrations which are currently in the pipeline. So just let me real quick walk you through the pipeline of this integration for the coming months. So like, first of all, we're currently working on integration with Intelay and obviously bringing like real Bitcoin onto the Equilibrium parachain for us is a top priority, because it's obviously will actually introduce more interesting use cases like cross-chain DeFi use cases within the space. I mean, not necessarily just for Equilibrium, but for the overall Kusama ecosystem. Also, we have accomplished the integration of testnets with Moonbeam, and where actually we'll be adding their native assets onto the platform as well. But beyond that, the goal is to integrate other ecosystem assets from the projects from projects building on the Moonbeam network into Equilibrium as well. So we're currently in talks with other teams as well, prioritizing our pipeline. Respectively, we're planning to approach integrations with Astar, with Centrifuge, and with other networks. So, anyways, like just heads up to everyone who is participating here in the call from the parachain side. We're pretty much open to discussing integrations. Feel free to reach out to us. We definitely would love to have you guys in the pipeline. because again, the goal for us is not just have this integration, but also to provide certain value to our partners whom we integrated with. So another thing I wanted to talk about during today's call is our Kusama Treasury proposal. So we have submitted this proposal to get some liquidity injection for the Jinshira parachain, which is our canary network on Kusama. So this proposal can be found on the Kusama's governance website, and feel free to comment and upvote. We are seeking 20,000 Kusamas to be injected in various liquidity pools, and you can see the breakdown of all these pools and where exactly these funds will go in our proposal. So would love to have you guys supporting us in this initiative. And just the last thing with regards to our production launch. So we have been extensively preparing for the production launch on Polkadot. As you know, we are already running somewhat of functionality on Kusama, but right now we're getting prepared and we're super excited about that, about our production launch on Polkadot, which is coming out really soon. So it's respectively, sorry. In July, we're planning to kick off the liquidity bootstrap event to actually have to collect more liquidity for the liquidity pools. And right after that, we're going to kick our platform off into production. Like respectively, there will be money market launched and the decentralized exchange as well. So besides that, I wanted also to give you a heads up. I'll be giving the presentation on the Polkadot Decoded event in Berlin. I'll be participating respectively on 29th. I think my talk is scheduled for something 4-ish p.m. The main stage. So would love to have you there, guys. And if you want to drop by and catch up in person, I'm looking forward to meeting all of you.
Amazing. Yes. Thank you, Alex. I believe you'll be here in Berlin as well, which is great. I will see you on the ground myself.
Amazing. Looking forward to that.
Amazing. And yes, as Elliot said, and most of the parachain teams here, as well as much as this call is for the community, which it is, Polkadot is really interoperability. And so XCM channels are possible among any parachains and with all parachains to be able to interoperate. And so if you're a parachain on this call and looking to be more interoperable, definitely reach out to Equilibrium. And I think we're already at 11 channels on Polkadot and over 34 on Kusama. But yeah, we can always, the more the merrier when it comes to channels. So up next, we have Elliot from Nodle Network. Sorry, all I need to give, Elliot, I'm bringing you back.
Thank you for having me back. Cool. So, as said, I'm Elliot. I'm CTO of Nodle, and Nodle is the 11th parachain of Polkadot. We managed to acquire a slot during the crowd loans, I believe in February, March. And since then, we've done quite a few things. So I've got a few updates for all of you guys. The first one being that we are live. Our parachain is fully activated on Polkadot. Some of you that were following Nodle since the beginning knew that we had a solo chain previously, so meaning that we are not a parachain, we are our own blockchain in our own little world. And our team has been very hard at work in migrating it to the parachain we acquired and thus merging both networks together. So this is done. This was done, I believe, a month or two ago. As part of our parachain migration, we also obviously issued any rewards, anything related to the crowd loan, and we actually are live on Subscan as well. As most of you know, Subscan is a block explorer for the Polkadot ecosystem and every substrate-based chains, and so we are very happy to be on Subscan. We used to have a custom block explorer, and it's now fully handled by Subscan themselves. Apart from that, a big thing that we're super excited about is that a week or two ago, we actually shared our 10-year roadmap. So this was a big request from our community, and we decided to really make it a big 10-year roadmap because we're super committed to build for the future, and we think we've got a pretty good idea of where we want to be, although this can be modified as with any roadmap. So I would invite you to actually go on our Medium or websites to have a look at the roadmap. There's quite a few interesting things. Some of them, which I'm going to mention, are Polkadot Decoded talk in Berlin next week. And apart from that, we have another thing that I'm pretty excited to deliver very soon, which is going to be our web wallets. Most of you know, and all the people here on this call also know how Polkadot.js can be a bit problematic to use for non-technical users. And so we actually decided to tackle that at the root cause and to create our very own web wallet with front-end center support for third-party wallets such as Talisman and Ledger. And upon launch, it's going to be focused mainly on Nodle because we wanted to keep things very simple, but we'd be open to making it support more parachain as the time goes. And last but not least, as I teased slightly, we are going to be speaking at Polkadot Decoded in actually 2 locations. So our CEO and founder, Misha Benoliel, is going to speak in Buenos Aires. I don't know on which day, but he's going to be in Buenos Aires, and you can check the program website to know the exact time. And myself, Elliot, will be speaking in Berlin on the main stage on Thursday next week about bringing Web3 to the real world, which I'm pretty excited about.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Elliot. Nice. And for those that maybe joined in the middle of this or the call or you weren't here for the beginning, next week is Polkadot Decoded, June 29th and 30th. You can tune in online. You can also tune in person. The event is all over the world in Buenos Aires, New York, Hangzhou, China, as well as I think I said Berlin, New York, Buenos Aires, Hangzhou. Yes. And then viewing parties all over the world as well. So make sure to head over to decoded.polkadot.network to RSVP, whether you can make it in person or not. Up next, we have, and I am very sorry, I'm afraid I'm going to pronounce your parachain as well as your name wrong. Jin Hu from Data Highway, who recently was one of the more recent Kusama parachain winners with their parachain Tanganyika, I believe.
Yeah, Tanganyika.
I did that right. That's wonderful. Over to you.
Thanks for the invitation. I'm very glad to be here, and greetings from Berlin. And we're Data Highway, as the name suggests. So we're building an interchain data marketplace for NFTs and for a lot of things. As you guys just heard, that the Tanganyika network just won the parachain, so we'll be online very soon. But yeah, so what is this kind of interchain data marketplace means? So actually, it more means for NFT, as you guys know that NFT is not a form of art. So it's just a piece of data on the blockchain that is not fungible, right? So what we are going to facilitate is to bring this kind of piece of data, like also to the real world. So for example, like parking data or like bike data or some real world asset, this kind of data as NFTs, and to facilitate the data to flow between like Ethereum and also different parachains and also different infrastructures. So this is our goal. And based on this goal, we built a project. Right now it's running on the Ethereum, it's called MXC. So this project's been running for like 4 years. After the parachain will be online, so we are going to migrate from Ethereum to Kusama, because like you guys know that Ethereum is getting bigger and bigger and slower. It's not really good for the layer 2 solutions to survive, right? So we firmly believe that Polkadot and Kusama layer 1 will be the future. So that's why we build this Data Highway project. And MXC will be moved from ERC20 to Data Highway as a layer 2. So what does MXC do on the top of data highway parachain, it's already built the largest Web3 radio network all around the world. So MXC has like 30,000 radio stations all around the world. Each one covers like 40 kilometers coverage. It's something tangible, a real network that's built by people, and we can track any piece of the data, any piece of the real object in this network and bring them to Kusama ecosystem and bring like a gin bottle or a vodka or Nike shoes or real Gucci bag as NFT. So we're already like showcasing this kind of thing on Remark NFT marketplace. And during the next week's the Decoded event on the live session, we're going to show you more demos about that. And most importantly, we can also bring the crypto punks or apes to the real world through our Web3 radio network. So for example, you can produce the merchandise based on the punks or apes or any NFT IPs that you created, bring them to the real world and let those who don't have wallets, those who don't have crypto, to enjoy the things, the data that you created on the other blockchain like Ethereum or the other parachains, and let them to verify and track in the real world. So yeah, so the strategy of Data Highway is really to be the data bridge between different blockchains, and except for MXE, so right now we're also building something exciting like ride to earn, to ride a bike through validating this kind of MXE radio network. We know that you are really riding a bike, then yeah, you can also earn something that's meaningful, and also working with, like I said, fashion or sports industry, so they have their real world assets to be issued as NFTs. So we already like worked with the largest Dutch gym manufacturer to put their gym bottles on the Kusama network. So yeah, so in the future we'll see that more shining, more real world use cases project will be on the Data Highway NFT marketplace and on the MXC network. So for the next week, like I mentioned, I'll be on the online session, but we will also co-host and participate in a lot of Berlin-based projects because we're here. We're a team here for like 4 years already, and it's really glad to participate in this kind of events because we see that before Corona, we also participated with Chainsafe and like Leap P2P, also with Gavin to the other countries. So we like to connect with the ecosystem and get more people to join the ecosystem to build something greater and much more flexible, more scalable than Ethereum and than what they do there. And hopefully Polkadot ecosystem and Kusama ecosystem will grow much more bigger, and we have more developers, have more upcoming projects that are exciting to get everyone use the token and use what we have been doing here. Thanks.
Thank you. Wonderful. And thank you so much for joining us today. And last but certainly not least, we have Hoon Kim joining us today from Astar. Astar's Kusama parachain yesterday, Shiden, made network history by being the first parachain to swap its parachain slot for its new slot and extend its lease period, but not do it via governance, but do it via XCM, which is a new XCM use case. They're the first to try this and do this. So we wanted to have Hoon here today to discuss what they did.
Hello, thank you for having me again, and a great introduction too, thanks. So yeah, as you guys might know, most of the first, or actually all the first batch Kusama parachains have ended their lease. And that also goes same with us, and we had to renew our lease like everyone else, which was using the slot swap method. But there were some problems. So problem was that our previous old slot would end it will end at lease period 20, and the new one will start from lease period 21. So we had a referendum like 199 a couple of months ago that will increase our lease period by 1 period so that we have an overlap. if we have an overlap and we do this slot swap, we won't have any downtime. So now all we have to do was just look into the right time to do that. A lot of the other projects managed to do their swaps quite early. For us, there were some things going on, and I don't know how to say that we panicked without saying that we panicked, but that we did a little bit of panic going on there, because also like because Santiago, our go-to person at Parity regarding this, was out of office, and we only had a couple of days left until we could do the swap. The problem was we couldn't do a direct swap because apparently in Polkadot they prevent you. There's a para lock which will be activated once the slot becomes a parachain. So we cannot do a generic account cannot execute the swap call for two parachain slots that are already onboarded as a parachain. However, this can be done by sudo account and another parachain account. So we did open a motion to add us to call this swap with our previous para ID and our new slot. But because governance takes some time to actually get going, and we only had a couple of days left until we could actually do this, we were really kind of stuck. And yeah, Sean from Parity helped us out here. He gave us some guidance saying that since a parachain account can request a swap, we could do that through XCM. And Alexander Kuperkin, our principal developer, awesome guy, shout out to him. He was the one to really get this thing going. And yes, we made a simple XCM instruction to execute the extrinsics on Polkadot from Shiden Network. So that's that call essentially comes from the Shiden parachain account. And that was the only way we could really call the swap and make it happen without waiting for the governance to pass. And yeah, I could say like the stars were really aligned for this one.
Wonderful. Yes, thank you so much for sharing. I'm looking forward to seeing more people use XCM, because it speeds up the process when you don't have to wait for a motion to be passed on governance. And also use cases where calling XCM, unlike other messaging protocols on other networks, there are other networks that have messaging protocols, which is what XCM is, the ability to send arbitrary messages, what you would think of as a text message or something, to token transfers. However, XCM is the only one that has the power to call a call on another chain and make it execute and perform some sort of execution, so to say. So that was really cool. And thank you so much for joining again today to discuss that. Yesterday on the community call, it had not been done yet, or it had just been done yet, or we're in the process of doing it. So great. Thank you so much, Hoon. So we're at the end of the hour here, but I want to thank all of our amazing speakers that joined us today. Again, we had Marvin from Phala Network. We had Shumo from Manta Network. We had, oh my gosh, I'm going to say your name wrong again, Kasha from BrightTreasury, Dan Forbes from Chainsafe to talk about Substrate Snap, Alex from Equilibrium, Elliot from Nodle, Chin from Data Highway, and Hyun again from Astar. And again, if you guys want to learn more about these projects, do follow them on social media, head over to their socials and to stay up to date, as well as tune into Polkadot Decoded next week and hear all of them talk about other things that they are doing as well, more in depth. And we look forward to seeing you all there next week, and if not, or next month on the July community call. And thanks again to all of our speakers and everyone who tuned in.